Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to What's Up Vlog 153. And it's the first day of the new WKG Racing League Spring-Summer 2018 series, and I'm beeping myself. I've just done a warm-up, so I'm already out of breath and sweaty. I did a whole lap. What this race is an individual time trial, all on time trial bikes, which you'll see if I flick round to there. You can see I am playing by the rules. I'm on a time trial bike. 3 laps of the Watopia Volcano Flat route. It's my personal best previously is 1 hour 2 minutes, and that was set some time ago, as were nearly all of my PBs. So my target is to beat that, and obviously I have a few names in mind that I'd like to beat as well, which I'll run through in a minute. But like I say, my PBs are from a little while back, so I don't know, I feel like I've been getting stronger recently, and I've been getting closer to some of my old PBs than I have been for a long time, so you never know. Today could be the day, but I'm certainly going to give it my all. I did a pretty intense warm-up. I did a whole lap in the opposite direction, and managed to do some sort of 1 minute stints at quite above FTP for a little while, and just to really get the heart going. Again, speaking of the heart, bloody apple. I'm going to try this again now, right? There, it says in-game, when I lift my wrist up, it pairs. I've set everything so that it's not supposed to go to sleep while I'm working out or anything like that. But as soon as I put my arm down, well, not as soon as, but any second now, that will turn off as though it's not on. But I can see the little green light is still there, reading my heart rate, so it's still doing something. Right. Anyway, I've seen a few of your times already. I've seen some of your practice laps. I've been keeping an eye to see who's on a TT bike. I'm delighted to report so far I've not had to disqualify anybody. But obviously I won't know your final times until after 8 PM UK time tonight, when I will go through everybody's Strava files. Whoa, what's just happened there? Zwift crash. So at the end of this, I'm not going to wrap up the video in the usual way that I do on the bike. What I'll do is I'll have a quick shower, jump off, and I will do the wrap up for this video while I'm going through the Strava data tonight. So you'll actually get sort of live, well not live, but as I see it, results basically of your times. So nothing left to do, but thank you all for joining the league. Before we start, wish you all the best of luck for now and for the following 11 rounds. There are some interesting ones in there. I've been fine-tuning my thought process around some of these races. Yes, if available, we will be taking into account the new Alp de Zwift if if the opportunity arises. So prepare yourselves for that one. Let's just get to it, shall we? What I will do also, I don't know if you can see on this camera, I've got there we go. I've set up a stopwatch on my iPad so that I can keep an eye on that that hour mark, because I really want to go sub 1 hour. My best is 102 point something. I really want to go sub 1 hour. I think that's beyond me, if I'm honest, at this point in time. But maybe having it there in big numbers will motivate me. I feel like I'm talking to sort of delay what needs to happen now. So normal camera view. The timer only starts when I cross the start-finish banner. And it's 3 laps of this flat volcano route. Let's start rolling out slowly. In the interest of full disclosure, I have put my driver realism down to 50%. I don't think 100% is great for racing, if I'm honest, and I'm not really sure what difference it would make on what is a relatively flat course. But it might just help me not have to change gear so often when we're grinding up the little bumps that happen and then straight back down to a flat again. So from that side of things, it might just make it a bit more convenient. But right, I'm going to shut it, start building up the speed before we hit this start line. Get ready to press my start on my stopwatch. Ah, my bloody heart rate, come on, I'm going to have to disqualify myself if this carries on. Right, here we go. Cheers Darren for the ride on, and thank you everybody that gave them to me during the warm-up as well. Very generous of you, unless you're just trying to weigh down my pockets. Thank you Jay Serler. Alright, ready with the stopwatch. Let's hold it there. Boom, here we go. Can you believe that? Wrong turn. I've set this at Watopia Volcano Flat. I was very specific that I did that. And I've just gone straight past the turning I was supposed to take. Alright, I'm going to have to abort. Start again. Jesus, that's more of a warm-up than I wanted. I don't understand how that's happened. Honestly don't. I was very, very careful to select the right route. Oh man, absolutely gutted. I was pushing hard on that as well. I was easing off a little bit for the last couple of K to try and basically just save myself so that I could have a more steady second and third lap, but I wasn't feeling too bad. I mean, you know, I'm sweating and hot, but... Right, let's end that. Thank you for everyone that gave me ride-ons, by the way. Alright, so I'll end this recording now and be back in a minute. Let's try again. Right, here we go again. Take two. Definitely set on Watopia Volcano Flat. I have, in well, about 10 minutes break that I've had, discovered that if you are using the arrow keys to change the camera angle and you're near a junction, that arrow key will still change the selection of whether you go straight on or turn left or right. And I stupidly was changing camera angle just as I got to that junction, and that looks like that's what happened anyway. But so thank you, Steve Clod, for clarifying that for me. Right, I'm starting again. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that first lap as fast as I did at that time. I was easing off, but not entirely through choice. I was definitely feeling a little bit fatigued towards the end of that, but see how we go. A little bit more go juice, a bit more banana. Cheers, Andreas, for the ride on. Right, start ramping it up. Get ready with the stopwatch. So if we have a bit more. Well, not luck, it was just bad judgment and not knowing the system well enough for me, but I'm going to try and pace it maybe a little bit easier from the start here, but see how we go. Ready, and we are off. Just went past Kenneth there, parked at the side of the road. Don't know if that was having finished his effort or just doing his warm-up. Good luck, buddy. Cheers, Niall, for the ride on. I will have to stop reading these out in a moment, I'm afraid, because my heart rate monitor's gone again. Come on. Oh, there we go. There's no way. No. Again, that's not right. Right, first thing on my shopping list. New heart rate monitor. I'm going to try, if I've got time after this ride, shoot to the shops and get one. I think this is getting ridiculous. Right, anyway. Shut up, head down, let's ride. Cheers, Carlos, for the ride on, and thank you very much for doing a kind of recon ride yesterday or the day before. It's very useful information for me because I think you finished almost bang on my PB with your time, So we're obviously quite similarly able on this course. So it was really interesting for me to try and learn something from your power figures and how you strategized it. And it's actually with that in mind that this time round on this lap I'm trying to keep it more around 200 watts. I was, on my first attempt, I think certainly the first half of the lap, I was a little bit over 200 for most of it, so I'm try and keep something in the back pocket on this one. But thank you for the ride on and for the ride data. And also Jane Coates, just seeing your name pop up, thank you very much for that. I did get a message from Nadia as well while I was doing my first run, where she expressed her disgust and anger towards you and I, Jane, for me for arranging this and you for forcing her to take part in it after what looked like an amazing week's trip riding in, where were you, Mallorca? Wherever it was, it looked absolutely stunning. So great to have you back, and I think you'll owe Nadia a nice big cup of coffee or something and a hug after this one. Darren, for the ride on, just as I'm coming up to where I think I went wrong last time, so I'm not going to touch that camera button. Let's hope we do this left hand turn without any problems. Looks like it will. Well, I'm not flashing to say I'm going to be turning. Oh, there we go. Alright, lovely. We're on the right track. So first lesson learned, don't try and change camera angles when you're near a junction. So I'm just going to leave it on this camera for a while. We've got a couple more junctions coming up in a minute. Time wise, 18.5 minutes, about a kilometre to go on this lap, so not quite on the 20-minute lap mark at the moment. I started steadier on this one, but finished kind of at the same pace, so I think it probably could work out about the same as I was going to do on the last lap anyway, before I went wrong. Alright, stop talking again for a bit. Alright, lap 1 is done. 20 minutes 35 seconds. So even if I hold that pace, I'm looking at over 21.5 minutes. Sorry, 1 hour, 1.5 minutes. That's assuming I can do every lap that fast. That would still be a PB for me, incidentally, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to maintain that pace for another 2 laps. We shall see. Do a little bit of TT mode on the wheel bike as well. I don't know how that works, that just hurts my nuts. Sorry for the extra information, but yeah, that's not comfortable. to the end of the second lap. It's going to be a very similar time to the first lap, maybe slightly quicker in fact, which I'm pleased about. And hit the line now. 15 seconds quicker. I like that. If I can do that again, I'm still not going to do it under 1 hour, but won't be a bad time. Whew. Cheers D Harmsworth. The last few K now. I'm not on target for under an hour, but I am on target for this third lap to be as good as my last lap, so I'm on for a PB. I'm dying. Oh, this has not been good. Cheers K, PKS Racing for the ride on. Last couple of K. Cheers Carlos for the encouragement. I'm trying to go all in. I've got nothing there at the moment. I'm trying to catch my breath a bit for the sprint downhill. In the hope that just don't fit, and I know exactly who I wanna be. I wanna live my life for me. There goes the hour. Right now. What can I do? Legs are gone. There's the banner. You're ready to stop. I can't sprint. This is everything I've got. I promise. Uh, 101's gone. And stop. I actually am going to be sick. Sorry guys. I think I am actually going to be sick. Hold on. I don't want to do this on camera, so. Thank you Martin for the ride on. Oh Jesus. What was my fastest lap, that last lap? 20:35, 2019 and 2011. I'm pleased with that, with the progression. I mean, I'm learning how to pace myself a bit. Hold on. I need to drink, but I'm worried this is going to come straight out. It's too hot in here. Oh man. Right. You don't all need to see me here on my last legs. Trying to hold down my breakfast. So as I mentioned before, I'm not going to wrap up now. I'll do that after I've got all the results compiled, so we can go through everyone's Strava live on screen. Should be good. Please, please, please let everybody have registered on the Strava group, because I'm having to be really strict about this. It is the only place that I'm going to take results from for these time trial rounds. On the other rounds that are in the Zwift module, obviously I can use Zwift and Zwift Power, but for these ones I have nothing else to go on, and I don't really want to be scouring through individual Strava records trying to find your laps. So I literally will be looking at the WKG Racing League group, this segment of the 3 laps of Watopia Flat Volcano for today. And anything that's not on there doesn't get counted. Sorry guys, I know it sounds really harsh, but I've got to do it that way. Let's just give Andreas a quick ride on. I've just seen him appear. Right, so I'm not wrapping up. Next time you see me, I should be clean, showered, have some energy and air in my lungs, and a little bit more understandable and legible in my speech. So, see you in a sec.
Right, so here we are, race results time. Back at home in the comfort of my own sofa, showered, changed, cup of coffee, much more civilised way of doing things. This is actually the second time I've recorded this, and this is actually the following morning from the race, for reasons which I'll explain in a moment. But first of all, let's just jump straight in and get to the race times, finishing order, points allocation. I'll try and keep this quick because I don't want this video to drag on too long, but we'll try and cover everybody as well as we can. So, 1 second. Right, start with the A category, and the overall race winner, Mr. Paul Sharp. 50 minutes 19 seconds. I'm absolutely blown away by that. In second place was Paolo Mari, who had done 50 minutes and 31 seconds, and I'd seen that time posted on the Facebook forum earlier in the day and thought, that's it, untouchable. And then Paul Sharp comes along and does that. It's just, I'm just mind blown. I need to confirm that I'm assuming the same number of working body parts and limbs, etc., as Mr. Sharp. We're both human beings, as far as I know. Yet, over a 37-kilometre flattish time trial, I'm 11 minutes slower. Doesn't make sense to me. I can only assume some really serious doping's been going on. There's no other explanation for it, obviously. So, no, in all honesty, that is amazing time. So well done, Paul. Overall winner and collector of 40 points in the league. As I mentioned, Paolo Mari, second place at 50.31, 36 points. Coming up next, Martin Bakker, 52.39, grabbing a brilliant haul of points to start the league off with at 32. Evelyn Ayres follows up at 53.05 and 30 points. Then we have Adam Wennington at 55.54 and picking up 28 points. Well done, guys. That is awesome. Right, Cat B. Another, again, I was mind blown by this. Kenneth Scramstad, 54.10. You'll be an A before you know it, my friend. I think you'll be picking up some strikes very soon. It was a difficult one to tell in this particular round, but that is a seriously solid time. As is Mr. Frank Storley, just 6 seconds behind in second place, picking up 36 points. And then only another handful of seconds, what is that, 29 points. Mr. Cameron Flynn, 29 seconds that was. Mr. Cameron Flynn with 32 points. Great job, my friend. Next up, Nick Taylor, 55.54, picking up 30 points. And Wilts Ryder at 56.07 on 28 points. Remember, all these points are this is double points, so that's why they're so high. After Wilts Ryder, we have Brian Roden, 56.50, picking up 26 points. With 24 points, we have Rickard Johansson on 57.09. Then David Potts, 57.10. 1 second separating those two guys. And David gets 22 points. Then just another 3 seconds back for 20 points for Mr. Dave Crook on 57.13. Just 5 seconds separates Dave from the next up, Peter Wilson, 57.18, who gets 18 points. And then, again, just 2 seconds to Tom Quinn, 57.20, picking up 16 points. That bunch there, going down from, where are we, Rickard Johansson down to Tom Quinn. That's going to be seriously tight, and I love to see that carry on, that compressed for the remainder of the season. Next up, Jamie Swan, 57.37, picks up 14 points. And just behind him, Darren Smith on 57.49 for 12 points. And Jim Pocock, 58.02 for 10 points. Then we have a name I'm so pleased to see in here. because it was touch and go whether you were going to be able to make it, as far as I'm aware. So it's brilliant to see you managed to get your time in on time. Mr. Padron de Gas, 58.13 for 8 points. Pedro Lopez Leto just behind, 58.27 for 6 points. Niall Simpson, 58.35 for 4 points. Then we have Emmanuel Persson. I must learn how to pronounce that properly. Newcomer to the league. Great to have you here. We've had you in previous races, I know, but obviously I know you're newly registered for this one, so it's great to be able to include you properly in the league table. 59.28, great time, my friend. Just ahead of Hans-Petter Summerson at 59.42. After Hans-Petter Summerson, Mr. Dave Harmsworth at 59.43, just 1 second behind Hans-Petter Summerson. Again, gets the 2 points. And Nick Rogers at 1 hour, 0 minutes and 6 seconds, also picking up the 2 points. C category, not massively surprised by the winner of this, but stunning time. Mr. Rich Siegler, 56.02, picking up the 40 points. New rider to the league, Mr. Rudy Palsma, who I'm going to have to call you Rudy Plasma, only because that is all I see when I look at your name, and I have to be very focused to make sure I read your name properly, and I'm going to mess it up more often than not, so I'm just going to call you Rudy Plasma. Please don't take any offence to that. A newcomer to the league, fantastic start, 36 points, second place with a 57.19. Next up, Duncan Bruce, 57.33, picking up 32 points. Chris Davis next, 57.55, grabbing 30 points. Then we have another newbie, Kevin Wiltshire, with 28 points for a 58.18. And next up, one half of the first of our married couples. We've got 3 married couples in this league, which is absolutely fantastic. And the first name to pop up is Sonia Polman Detail, with a time of 58.39 and 26 points. So great job, Sonia, and soundly beating your husband, Andreas, who we'll come to in a moment. So I could sense a few domestics developing during the course of the league. Next up, Len Capel. Brilliant time, 58.44 and 24 points. I saw Mick, your son, riding earlier. Chapeau to him, did a great job. You're probably glad to see that he didn't quite do as well as Mr. Capel Senior. Otherwise, you might not have lived that down. But excellent time, Len, and 24 points. Rich Patterson next, 59.06, 22 points. Followed by Robert Andre Mickelson at 59.15 for 20 points. Then we have DCAS, 59.54 and 18 points. Just 1 second ahead of Mark Smith, 59.55 for 16 points. Then we have Mr. Paul Somerville. No, we don't. We have Darren Hunter. Right. I have a list, 5 names. I had a couple of main objectives for this race. First one, try and get under an hour. Didn't make that, unfortunately. Second objective, new PB. Killed it, absolutely smashed it. Beat my PB by about 1.5 minutes, so really delighted with that. Third objective was to beat 5 particular riders who I see as my key rivals and key challenges for this league. The first name on that list, Mr. Darren Hunter. Darren and I seem to have crossed paths on so many races in previous leagues, and I think, despite us possibly having strengths and weaknesses in different areas from each other, I think we're pretty evenly matched, I've got to say. So I think this could be an ongoing battle for the remainder of this league. But very disappointingly for me, it's first blood to Darren with a brilliant time, 1 hour and 10 seconds. So chapeau, Darren. I'm trying to be pleased for you as much as I can. This is a really forced smile because I'm actually really peed off that I didn't beat you. So you're name number 1 on my list. So I'll get to the other names as we come to them as I scroll down. So well done, Darren, 14 points. Next up, Paul Somerville, 1 hour and 13 seconds for 12 points. Then we have Mr. Velo Viking, 1 hour and 21 seconds for 10 points. I'm going to try and pronounce your name properly this time, Mr. Velo Viking, because I can't keep calling you Velo Viking. So I'm going to have a go. Please forgive me. I think it's pronounced Snorre Forley. I don't know if that's anything close to what it's supposed to be. And for the ease of doing it for my vlogs, I'm thinking of rolling it into one word, if that doesn't offend you too much. So I'm going to refer to you as Snorrefferly. I know that might sound like a character from Sesame Street, but it's the best I can do and the best I remember. So Snorrefferly, 1 hour, 21 seconds and 10 points. Next up, the other half of the Detail family, Detail marriage. Andreas, 1 hour 23 seconds, grabbing 8 points and beating me 1 hour 1 minute and 6 seconds. Not the best time, but I'm very pleased to have beaten my PB. What I'm even more pleased about is that I got progressively faster. So my first lap was 20 minutes 35 seconds. Second lap was 20 minutes 20 seconds, something like that. And my third lap was 20 minutes 10 seconds, or thereabouts, whatever adds up to 101.06. So I was really pleased. That's not like me to progress during the course of the race. I normally blow up in about 20 minutes in and then just grinding, as you all know. But anyway, I'm pleased with that. Next up, behind me, Mr. Keith Denton, who is number 2 on my list. Couple of reasons for this. One, again, we've had races, actually more recently off-season, where our results have been shared between each other. So I see that as being, I see Keith as a very tough target, but one that I should be aspiring to. Also, Keith is still the only ever present. Every single round of every single WKG Racing League, Keith has competed and competed very strongly. So he picks up a lot of points just by being there, as well as really great performances. So Keith, you're my target number 2. And that takes us straight on to target number 3, Mr. Rink Visser, who came in at 101.32 to pick up 2 points. Rink is there for a very similar reason to Keith. We've had a few races in the closed season, and we've shared results again. I've taken a couple, Rink's taken a couple, and having moved himself up from the D category to the C's, I think he's proven he's going to be a very worthy contender in the C category, and I really look forward to doing battle. But if I'm perfectly honest, the main reason that Rink is on my list, I don't know how many of you will remember the 111 race from last season. Basically, I had, I think, about a 5-minute gap ahead of Rink, and I just died. I had about 2 or 3 kilometres left going up the reverse KOM on Watopia, and my legs were gone. I was cramping in every part of my body, and I could see Rink Visser's name in the list at the side getting higher and higher and higher, getting closer and closer to mine. And he got me quite comfortably in the end, and because of that, revenge is due, and that whole scenario is etched permanently in my Zwift racing nightmares forever. So, Rink Visser, number 4. Was that number 4? No, number 3 on my list. We've got Darren, Keith, and Rink. Okay, moving on. Mr. Nick Pousson, 101.41 to pick up 2 points, just ahead of... Let me scroll this up, so I don't know if I'm blocking the names. So 101.41 for Nick Pousson, just 7 seconds ahead of Mr. John Grasso at 101.48, also getting the 2 points. Next up, name number 4, Catherine Denton. Similar to Keith, again, seems to be there very regularly. I've had some races off season, and again, shared results. But Catherine is also another one of these that, particularly on hilly courses, will more than likely blow me away. But I see that as a potentially attainable point. So it's rather than... This is going to sound... This is difficult to say without offending one person or another, but I didn't want to pick someone that was way out of my league and it just be completely unachievable. But I wanted to pick a rider that should beat me. Catherine's an incredibly strong rider. But if I can use that as motivation, as a carrot to chase, then brilliant. So Catherine, number 4 on my list, and straight behind, number 5 on my list, Jane Coates. 9 times out of 10, Jane will absolutely kick my ass in a race. Anything going uphill, she's a proper mountain goat and will destroy me. My excess mass helps me on other courses, which evens things out a little bit. And again, we seem to have been pretty close to each other for a lot of races over a lot of leagues. I've raced with Jane in Team Type 1 events. We actually did together the very first Sunday challenge. I was doing a vlog, like vlog number 10 or something, way back when, with a ridiculous challenge to try and do the Watopia KOM and then back down again to the start banner 3 times in under 15 minutes, and failed miserably. But Jane was the only one that turned up to assist in that particular challenge, and so I have a long-standing Zwifting relationship with Jane. Jane is also part of one of the other married couples with Nadia Mentz. Obviously, Keith and Catherine Denton were the other one that I didn't mention. But yeah, so Jane, you were on my list just because of history, and likewise with Catherine. I think I shouldn't beat you. I don't think I will beat you. You're too good on too many of the courses that I've mapped out for this series. But if I can have you there as one of my goals, that might just focus my effort a little bit more. So, Jane, you're on the list. Next up, Mr. Carlos Valadares, 102.34. Now, I will be perfectly frank about this. That time was set a day before the actual race. I am going to, following a message that I have received from Carlos, I am going to remove the points. But I thought I'd put his time in there anyway because he did do it, genuinely did it, but obviously it was before the time window because Carlos, due to family commitments, there was no way he was going to make it. And having made the decision that I did regarding allowing Oliver to have a go and anybody else that sort of missed the window, as much as I would love to include these times because I know you guys will be there throughout the league, I can't allocate the points on that basis. I know Carlos understands that. In fact, it was Carlos's suggestion not to allow him to have any points for that. But I'll put your time in there anyway because it gives a good indication of where you are. And it's just good to see your name in there. So well done, Carlos. Moving on, Mr. Paul Daly, 103.32, picking up 2 points. Next up, Mike Mitchell, one of our promoted riders from D to C, doing a great job at 104.30 and grabbing 2 points also. Next up, Mark Greenshields, new to the league. Our paths have crossed on numerous occasions, Mark, but I think this is the first time, if I'm right, that we've managed to actually get registered and properly set up for the league. So brilliant to have you here. 104.44 and 2 points to start you off. Jason Arblaster, one of my Mont Ventoux driving buddies. Great to see you there, Jason, at 105.32, and you grab the 2 points. And then we have Joel Walker, 106.19, grabbing the 2 points also. So well done, everybody. Some really, really strong efforts in there. All right, moving on. Category D. Winner of Category D, Michael Ward, 105.03, picking up the full 40 points. Great job, Michael. Another newbie to the league and starting with a huge bang. So great job, my friend. Next up, Ruth Ambrose, who I've hotly tipped in my mind to really cause a stir in this D category this year. Starts off with a brilliant time, 105.47, and picks up 36 points. Just behind Ruth, Noel McGrath at 105.59, grabbing 32 points. Excellent effort, Noel. Likewise, David Wright at 110 and 1 second for 30 points. Joe Harvey just behind at 111.24 seconds and 28 points. Then we have Matt King at 112.05 and 26. 1 hour, 12 minutes, 5 seconds for 26 points. Followed closely by Chad Blakey, 1 hour, 14 minutes, 16 seconds and 24 points. And bringing that up time-wise, we then have Nadia Mentz at 1 hour, 20 and 50 seconds for 22 points. Nadia is Jane Coates' wife and was bullied by Jane into joining this league. So, Jane, I owe you a massive drink for getting Nadia involved. I got a message from Nadia during my race saying how much she hates myself and Jane, me for creating it and Jane for for bullying her into do it. But I'm absolutely delighted to have you here, Nadia. Another rider whose name we've crossed paths going way back when, and it's brilliant to be finally racing against you. Excellent to have you here. And next up, the reason I didn't say and finally, it's Patrick Baker, because you'll see Patrick's time is actually the fastest out of that. This was a really hard one to gauge. Patrick suggested he should have been a D rider. I kind of railroaded him into being a C category rider. But following the race, I think his own feeling was that he definitely will be a D category rider going forward, particularly as we get to more hilly parkour, basically. So what I've done is I have moved Patrick to Ds. Obviously, that time there, 104.21, would have won this race in the D category. But because everybody is sort of gauging their own performances based on who their rivals are. So if you see Patrick's listed as a C, the D category riders can all but ignore him and concentrate on the other D category riders as their competition. Based on that, I don't see that I could have brought Patrick in and given him the win in the D category. I hope you understand where I'm going with this, Patrick. It's basically, I've given you the 20 points for finishing in that position in the D category, regardless of your time. Had you stayed in the D category, that time would have been, I think you'd have picked up 2 points. So it's still a decent haul of points to start off with. But I didn't think it would have been fair on other D category riders if I moved you there and gave you the win based on that time. I'm not sure if I've articulated my reasons very well there, but I know what I mean. But anyway, Patrick, obviously, I'm more than happy to have you in the Ds, and as you've expressed, I know as the courses change and we start throwing a few mountains and things like that, that's when the times will be a little bit more reflective of exactly where you are. But that's basically it. So, a fantastic job by everybody. What I will do is just bring up the league table very quickly, if I can, if I've got it open. Actually, there's no point in me bringing up this league table because the order is going to be obviously exactly as it was for the results of the first round. So I will wrap it up there. I'll just say, obviously, again, huge thank you to everybody that took part. This is looking to be really exciting. There are some seriously tight battles. Please let me know if I've made any mistakes. It certainly wouldn't be the first time that I've missed out a name or allocated the wrong points or whatever. I've tried to be as fair as I possibly can with regards to, like I say, times that weren't necessarily in the right category or the riders that couldn't make it on time, etc. The reason for re-recording this, as I mentioned, this is the second time I'm recording this closing video. The reason for re-recording it is one of the requirements was everybody needed to join the Racing League Strava group. But there was some confusion about that. I'm not sure I made it clear enough that it was a separate Strava group to the main sort of WKG group. So a lot of people thought they were already members because they were members of the WKG group. But no, this was a specific one set up just for this Racing League series so that I can instantly go into one place, list everybody's results for that day, and it saves me jumping around trying to get them. I was going to be really firm on that, but because a lot of people thought they had done it. It wasn't people just not bothering. A lot of people thought they had done it. Their results weren't showing up. So I had to allow a bit of flexibility in terms of them registering that time later on in the day. All the times were completed within the time window. It's just they didn't appear in the Strava group until later on, which is why there's some times there that weren't immediately obvious at the 8 o'clock cutoff point. So anyway, that's why it's re-recorded. All done. Absolutely incredible event. It was so exciting. It's hard with the vlogs are going to be harder because obviously I'm only going to be focusing on the time trials. I'm only really going to be getting footage of me. So the vlogs might not be quite as interesting as the main races that are in the event module, because in those I will do my best, as I always do, to try and capture certainly the finish of everybody, try and focus on all the categories, not just me and the riders around me. I'll try my best to focus on as many different areas of the race. I want to see it as much as anything, so I will do my best on that. Obviously, if I'm engaged in a pretty intense battle that requires concentration, it's difficult to jump around with the riders, but I'll do my best. But it looks like it's going to be a super fun league. There are some seriously tight battles developing already, even after one round, so mega excited about that. Was a tough one, very tough one to start with, and quite deserving of the double points, I thought. It lived up to the slogan of the fun, pain, torture, vomit for the league. I came very close to all four. I had the fun, pain, and the torture, and as you'll have seen from my video, I did come very close to the vomit. I'm glad to report that it didn't quite go all the way, but it came very close. So on that subject, obviously, fun, pain, torture, vomit t-shirt, the official t-shirt of the WKG League. I should do a kind of sales pitch, really, shouldn't I? So, teamwkg.com, jump in there, click on the shop. T-shirts are there in either this white with black or grey with pink. They've got the WKG Racing League logo on the back. £12.99. Spend £20 in the shop, you get free worldwide shipping. That's it. That's all I'm going to say on that. Go and grab one if you fancy one. Right, I'm going to wrap up. Again, thank you all very, very much for taking part. Thank you for your patience in me getting this video out to you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.